from the beautiful Inland Blue Studios, this is the Nerdlife Crisis Podcast with your hosts, Chris Thayer, Steve Hale, and Ron Miltz.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerdlife Crisis Podcast. Here with your host today,
Chris there,
Steve Hale,
and I'm Ron Miltz. All right, well, we are recording on some beautiful new microphones here today.
Yeah, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy stopped by and dropped off some new microphones.
I should get a picture of this so we can have people see
How ridiculous we
ridiculous these fucking mics are.
I'm afraid this thing's going to fall over and bang me in the fucking mouth.
They're going to knock out some more of your teeth over there?
Dude,
It might knock you out cold. This thing's so big.
Man.
Well, we're doing a show. I have a show I'm directing, and I needed some Sennheisers, but they're prohibitively expensive. And so the good people at Monoprice make a decent Sennheiser knockoff. So we're testing them out for the show on the podcast today. And it was 20% off, so it's like...
So if it sounds like ass...
I mean, that's a savings.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't walk away from that.
No, it's not at all. It's like, it's like when you go to the, you go to get your massage and they offer you the hand job for $20 more. You're like, that's an incredible deal. Like,
Right.
how do I avoid that,
Yeah, I mean, $20.
Right?
$20 is $20,
Right.
Exactly. So, man, we have been busy and it's been fun. Chris and I just got done doing 2 weeks at back-to-back different cons. We were in Palm Springs, in the valley of the hottest place on the fucking planet.
Yeah, we were on the sun, pretty much. We traveled to the sun.
I'm like, who the fuck wants to cost... we had this moment. I'm like, you know why there's no superheroes in the desert? Because it's 120 degrees in leather, and that shit don't work.
Yeah,
Right?
that was the report from everybody I saw on Facebook. They're like we are walking in the 7th level of hell right now. It's
Yeah.
so
Right.
fucking hot, dude. So
It was, but it was a good con, and the 501st had an incredible setup, dude.
yeah, for the Inland Empire squad, Palm Springs Comic Con has become their baby, and they put a lot of work into it this year, man.
Yeah, I know they
had.
had some issues. They had some iPods and stuff that got stolen from their room.
I have not heard that.
Yeah, like
Dirty.
Yeah, no, because the hotel apparently would not lock the door. And then they went in.
What?
Yeah, I was told they put their own chain and lock on it, and then the hotel came through the next morning and cut the lock off of it.
Oh wow!
So
I had not heard that.
yeah,
yet.
there was some interesting stuff that
That's
happened there.
insane.
Well, what was more insane was what, Chris? What was the most insane part about Long Beach or about Palm Springs Comic Con?
The fucking announcements every 60 seconds.
Really?
Literally.
So
every 60 seconds.
Chris lost his mind at one point
dude.
because they had all these like Maurice Lamar and all these talented voice people there coming over and doing fucking their announcements in their character voices.
Okay.
Really, really loud.
So, but for like an hour straight, it was like an announcement every minute, and Chris
I was
like,
keeping track of it at
jotting
first.
it down.
I was writing the times down, and it got to where it was like less than a minute apart.
Oh yeah.
And I was ready to lose my shit on somebody.
It was. You know how he gets his panties in a twist over the prequels?
Yes.
Like, imagine that, but me going, dude, just relax. It's not the end of the world. And he's like, no, I'm fucking tired of it. I don't want to do this anymore.
I went to a convention in Maryland years ago called Horror Find, and one of the stars from the original Day of the Dead was there, and this must have been his first convention he'd ever done or something. And he was so fucking excited to be there, and he's making money because people are buying his fucking 8x10s
Right.
and all this and signatures. And then he starts reciting lines from the fucking movie because he was loud and obnoxious in the movie.
Right.
He's like the sergeant. Have you guys seen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a
He's the one that gets like torn in half.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And he's
for
like,
sure.
I'm running this fucking installation, Frankenstein. He kept doing this the whole show, 3 fucking days of it. Let me tell you, by day 3, you're like, dude, I want my $20 back.
Right.
You are fucking annoying. You don't deserve that $20, dude. Holy crap, man.
I've had enough. Well,
yeah.
and
Bert, you're killing me, man.
so you would think out of the two cons that the Palm Springs con would have been the more uncomfortable, being that it was 123 degrees outside. But no, Long Beach Comic Con this weekend, which, always enjoy the Long Beach Comic Con. They didn't turn the air conditioning unit on in the building on Saturday
Fucking savages.
until 9:30.
That's crazy.
Right.
So it ended up being hot and humid in there the entire fucking show. Like the entire day on Saturday, we were all dripping sweat, sitting, doing nothing. So it was miserable, and the people were miserable.
Right.
And it showed.
Yeah, because now you know what? You're like, I don't want to be here. I want to get the hell out of here. I'm not spending money.
Right. Well,
They're not
they weren't spending money, that's for
They're
sure.
not stopping to look at anything. They're like, you know what? Fuck this.
There were a lot of people walking fast.
Let's get across the street to Islands and have a cool beer and some air conditioning.
Yeah, we always laugh because it's like the Long Beach is like if Las Vegas is Simple Jack Con and Palm Springs is the con of like we're having a con on the sun.
Right.
Long Beach would be either like Jaded Con or SA Con would be like my two things where you're like, hey man, we got this great book. It's like, what you got, Holmes? Like the whole day, we're like, "Hey man, you want to hear about did your kid like comic books? Oh man, she don't know how to read."
Like all day.
Stupid.
You know what? There were a lot of people, like 50%, were not at all interested in comics.
One guy was like, we were like, "Hey, hey man, you look like a man in need of a new comic books." Man, I don't read comic book. That shit's gay. Well, dude, you're at a Comic-Con. I don't know.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
It was like one of those things like, how did you end up here? Like,
It's like I start when I hear crap like that. It's like I feel like one of those nerds who goes like, I want to take this back. I want to go back to 1988 the way it was because it was better. You know?
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
And we have officially reached the point where cosplayers, like we try not to engage.
No.
Because it's like I'd say every third cosplayer has some severe like either social disorder or we met the girl that's going to murder me later in my life.
Yeah.
In the fucking bunny suit. Like,
It was a little scary.
she was like, she walked up and she's like, I go, "Oh, can I tell you about our book?" And she's like, "I would love to hear about your book. I love blood. Blood is wonderful. The 9-tailed dog that controls me." And I'm like, I'm all,
and I have to like put him to sleep so I can go about my day, you know. But he's constantly saying, "Take care of that cat," you know.
we always talk about like this country having a mental health issue, and you have to agree with it.
Oh, yeah.
it has bled into Comic-Con.
Well, I tell you, man, like years ago, I remember when I was first getting into the 501st, I met another costuming club, Mercs, and this guy had a whole backstory to his character.
What?
Yeah. They name themselves and stuff. You know, it's really pretty out there. A little too much for me.
They're not all named Boba Fett.
I am not. Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
Does
Let me
anyone
tell
get
ya.
to be Boba Fett?
Okay, so to give you a brief background of the Mando Mercs, they at one time were in the 501st, the
Okay.
Bounty Hunter Guild. Pretty much it was like you could just go ahead and make your own bounty hunter up. It was
Right.
really like
Pretty
you know,
loose.
real loose. And then years ago, they decided that they just wanted to do canon costumes. So they kicked all these mercs out.
Gotcha.
Well, they immediately started their own club. And that's cool, but I'm not into, I guess you could call it the live action role play
Right.
that they're
Yeah,
kind of
they're
into,
definitely
man.
LARPing, man.
Yeah, big time. And I was just like, oh, dude, what am I getting myself into?
All right, geez. We our new favorite game that we've developed over the last because you go to enough cons and we like your whole like how many fucking black Batmans or whatever do you need to see? It's like the same
Black and white Batman statues. Just, I'm not talking about African American Batmans. Black
there
and
are
white.
plenty of those as well.
Oh, and that is
And it was all good.
Awesome.
It's cool.
Okay.
Everybody's Batman. It's all good.
everybody's welcome.
But at a certain point, like the cosplayers, we've reached the point where we're like, that's cool, but it's like, don't fucking take your pictures in front of my booth.
Right.
Yes.
Like-
I understand that.
You obviously don't ever buy anything when you're here, which is annoying as shit.
Yeah.
But we like to, what's the word, antagonize them as much as physically possible.
We really go after him.
So now it's like every time we see like the Green Arrow walk by, we're like, Robin Hood, what's up?
Right. Oh, that'll
so
get 'em
dirty,
going.
dude.
And we got this one guy.
yeah.
This one guy, and he walked by us 3 times. We're like, Robin Hood, and he's like, I'm Green Arrow. We're all Green Lantern, fucking awesome. And then when the Mando Mercs walked by, Chris jumped up. He goes, "Oh my god, you guys look so good. Can I get a picture?" And he's like, "I love BMX."
Yeah, man, they make their armor out of trash cans and shit, dude.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. No, we do. I especially am not a fan of the trend. I mean, what the Filefers does is a little different.
Yeah.
And it's an organization that does like charitable stuff, and like these people are all there for look at me, and
Yeah,
that
I mean,
gets on my nerves.
for the most part, dude, in our club, you definitely have an older crowd.
Right.
I'm always very surprised if I meet a younger member because our costumes are not made of foam that you get from
Right.
the craft store. Our costumes have a price tag attached to them, and most 19-year-olds are not going to be able to afford that straight up. But what they can afford is make giant keys
Right.
out of cardboard and foam and shit, and that's what that crowd.
Well, it's
for
like
sure.
let's put on a leotard, or let's put on like the smallest possible bit of clothing you can put on. And
Which
not that
I
I'm saying
support.
there's anything wrong with that,
Right.
but that's not really playing that character. That you're just dressing up to dress up and have everybody look at you.
Yeah.
Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
dude. There are some of the professional cosplay people literally have multiple costumes that they'll wear throughout a convention.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes multiple in a day.
Right,
You know?
right.
God, it's
So-
gonna be exhausting.
The most unique one of the weekend was one I'd never seen before, which is this guy came dressed as the motherfucker from Kick-Ass 2.
Yes.
Have you seen Kick-Ass 2?
Yeah.
So you remember
Okay, yeah.
the red mist turns
Yes,
into the motherfucker with
yeah.
like the BDSM gear.
Right.
And this shit was like spot on.
It was pretty legit.
And so people kept coming up to him and being like, "Oh, who are you?"
Nothing worse.
And so
man.
Chris and I are sitting there, and I'm like, "What's up, my mother?" Like every time I would see him, and he must have walked by like a dozen times. And then
Right.
on day 2, he came in a pretty legit Ash, like from Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
But then he switched back into the motherfucker
Right.
halfway during the day.
Right.
He's gonna get his money worth out
I
of that,
guess,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
And Chris, and we were talking. Chris, like, where does he even get all that stuff? I go, "Oh, Chris, that's like the same spot you buy the goggles. Like, it's
You'd be surprised. A lot of people, man, spend a lot of money in like custom fabrication.
Oh, yeah.
They're not making it themselves. There are people out there they've turned it into a definite
Right.
industry, dude.
Well, I've got some friends that are like way into their making their own, and to the point where like Kimmy, she did her own Big Barda, and like DC used her costume design in one of the books.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
it was
pretty
super
dope.
cool.
yeah, that's pretty dope."
So I mean, I can respect that.
Right.
That's that's about craft, you know.
Yeah.
But buying a bunch of shit that you can
Well,
find
you
at the
know-
Halloween store, and
Well,
you know.
yeah. I mean, you could always tell the difference between
Right.
the Halloween store.
Anyway, I don't want to rip on the
I mean,
cosplayers, but
that's
we
how,
do mess with them a bit.
That's how Tom Littleston
Yeah, Hiddleston.
ran around Comic-Con in a like a Halloween club Jango Fett.
Really?
Yep.
Funny.
Now, Steve, you will be happy to know that I got into it with a security person
Oh, my
at Palm
God.
Springs.
Oh man, I thought we were gonna go a whole year
Nope.
without you.
Nope. I was waiting for something at Long Beach, but it was me that was all irate at Long Beach.
So
Oh, he lost his shit too.
on the Saturday, they're like the floor closes at 7, and we're literally at the end of the day. I mean, we had a great day on Saturday.
Yeah.
And this couple comes up, and so we're in the middle of the pitch, like talking to them about the book. They're super excited,
And they're into it.
And the security woman walks up to them and is like, "The con is closed. You need to leave."
No, it wasn't even that. The con is closing. You need to start moving toward the door.
Yeah, just like
This was 10 minutes before the con closed.
Like they had already announced the con's going to close in 10 minutes. And then I watch her walk down the row, and she does this to every table that's trying to make one last sale.
Right.
And so she comes back, and I fucking lit into her.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was just like, hey, at first I was like, I get you doing your job, but we're trying to make our sale. What time does the con close? And she's like, well, 7. I go, well, you're 8 minutes early.
Right.
You know? I'm all, you can't come, I'm like, and she's like, well, I'm just doing what my boss says. I go, well, your boss is a fucking idiot. And
From there, it snowballed. And then it was like shouting at her down the aisle. Why don't you try not being rude? You know? How about that? Can you try that?
and literally, like, this guy walks over. Is that your boss? Is that him right there? Because he's a fucking idiot.
It was pretty good.
You know, I've watched him go toe to toe with the parking lot attendant
yeah,
over the
I've
legal
seen that
tender.
too.
Okay, so like this lady didn't even know what she was getting herself into.
No.
Like, listen, it says 7 o'clock. That means 7 o'clock. We're not running on Filipino time here,
Right.
or whatever clock you're running on, lady.
Right.
Okay?
Or just politely say, "Excuse me, the con is closing. You need to start."
What do they
moving
do
toward
at
the front."
Comic-Con at 7 o'clock? They just thank you, good night, and then security starts moving.
Right. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You move your way through.
Yeah. So
No, she was totally rude. She was wrong.
thanks for the 10-minute warning.
And she didn't do it the next day.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Well,
That shit was over.
I
the
kind of
next
made a
day.
big stink about it. And
Yeah.
then everybody in our row was like, yeah, way to tell her. Because she did
Right.
the same shit to me. And I'm like, well, if you're not going to advocate for yourself, nobody is going to, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a business. Like, I know you an $8 an hour employee over there. But
You know, in this day and age, you never know if you're going to have some United, pilots come and drag you down the fucking, aisle or something. You're next thing you're getting tased in the nuts.
oh, that's always fun.
Somebody's hitting you in the face with bear spray or some shit. Everybody seems to have this these
Yeah,
days.
like, that shit is proliferated.
And
like,
I gotta tell you
everywhere.
what, dude, as a hiker, like a can of bear spray is not cheap, dude. That's like $50,
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, people
We
are
have
just,
some for camping, so.
yeah, it's like that's expensive. That's an expensive deterrent. You guys are just spraying all over the damn place, man. You want to calm it down, There might be bears. I mean, every time I turn around, there's one wandering out around Altadena, Holy shit, man.
Well, we definitely had a good time. The bingo cards went out.
Yes.
And so
Dean showed up.
Dean showed Dean Berthoff, the creator of our bingo cards.
Thank you, Dean.
Yes, Dean showed up and he was like giddy that he's like, because Chris saw, I put your name created on by you, and he's like, oh my god, yay! So and then he bought a Stranger Things shirt and like ran down the aisle as Spider-Man the rest of the day.
Awesome.
Yeah, he did the new Spider-Man, like the one with the hood and the little goggles for eyes and what have you. It looked pretty legit. Like,
yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine at work. He listens to the show on and off here and there, and I said, yeah, somebody that listens just made a bingo game of the shit that we say, kind of throughout our episodes. And he said, oh, I got to see this shit, so now I'm going to take this to work.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
Pass it
And
around.
I
dude.
make two. Now, I'm hoping that people will give us more of that kind of stuff so we can create more bingo cards that have, less repetition on them.
content.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's.
I mean, there's a lot on there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty busy.
There
But
is a
and we
lot.
had a number of people that had never heard the show before would like read the bingo card, and the one they consistently laughed at was the Steve is disappointed by something violent his kids did. Steve is proud of something violent his kid did. So, but all things considered, like 2 weekends back-to-back cons, I've never done that in my life.
That's rough.
It was not fun.
Yeah.
like.
It was a lot.
Yeah, Sunday at Long
And
Beach
you
was
missed
a
a
little
day,
rough.
so
I did. I missed
You
the
missed
last
Sunday
Sunday
of
at
Palm
Palm
Springs.
Springs. So poor Chris did 5 days in 2 weeks.
5 days,
So,
dude.
which is why he was super bitter week 2.
Yep. But I let them know at Long Beach when I went to renew for next year. They said, "Oh, how was your con?" And I said, "Did you have a good con?" I said, "Not really, no." Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, like every other person had empty hands. If that tells you anything, You're like, well, we didn't really like this weekend, but we tried it out, and next year it'll be on a different weekend. I'm like, well, I hope so, because there's a lot of talk about people not coming back. So.
There's also another. I think it's Gen Con. It's a gaming convention that's
Right.
going on. They do it on Memorial Day weekend. They do it on Labor Day weekend. That kind of gets some people too.
Right.
Yeah, there was some. I mean, I would, go ahead.
It wasn't bad.
No,
Saturday was fine.
Saturday was phenomenal.
Sunday was not
terrible.
Yeah. Sunday was really rough.
And it wasn't that it was like it just the people that were there. Like that was the day the guy was like, "Fucking comic books are gay." I'm all. I just was dumbfounded. Like, you're at
What?
a Comic-Con, And somebody it was like the woman that was like, no, I don't read comic books. And then the other one that was like, I'm just here because my husband likes to look at naked titties.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can hang out with her
Oh,
husband.
she was hammered, too.
Oh, yeah.
But she still bought a fucking book.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I'll give you $5. I don't fucking care. Here's $5. Go ahead. Give me your book. I'll read it. Or not. I don't know.
Maybe I'll use it for a fan. It's hot as fucking
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Hey, lady,
totally.
thank you for your support.
Yeah. And I looked at my kid. I'm like, take that $5 right now. Put it in the thing before she changes her mind.
Yeah, there was definite some. Okay, so all roads lead to Darrian. Real quick, the
Oh,
Palm
Jesus.
Springs. No, Palm Springs. So they had this speed dating thing in Palm Springs. And Darrian goes, the girl comes over and she's talking to Darrian about it. And you know, of course, like, thank you for coming to our booth to fucking pitch us something. And she's like, yeah, it's speed dating, but Comic-Con style. So we do one at 2 and 4 and 8. And she's like, oh, I'd love to do one at 4. And we're like, all right, that's fine. It's the end of the day. Go do your thing. So she goes, and girls don't have to pay, but the men do. So that's where they get you. And she comes back and she's like, Ron, oh my God, I got 30 phone numbers. And we're like, and I'm like, Chris and I are like, neither of us are impressed by that, Darrian.
Dude, you went into the room and picked up the low-hanging fruit is what you did. You're not going after, like, the super studs. The guys that are going to speed dating at Comic-Con,
I got to tell you,
they're
man.
not studs.
Back when my daughter Sid was going to San Diego with us, you know, Sid is like, you know, she's, you know, got thigh highs
Right.
on and the boots, and she's like little goth princess and shit. And she's walking probably 10 feet ahead of me and my buddy Robert and my
Right.
buddy Ed. And every fucking guy that walked by her, hundreds of guys, were like doing a double take.
Well, of course.
And I'm like, I'm used to it.
Right.
Okay, I have a beautiful daughter. What can I say? I make beautiful children.
Is she dressed
So,
that way?
She's
What do you
dressed the
expect?
way she's dressed. I get it. Robert was losing his fucking mind, dude. He is literally yelling at every guy that you know, between Hall H and fucking E,
Right.
he yells at every single guy. She is fucking 18 years old. What the fuck? Jesus Christ, Sid, put a damn coat on. He is fucking going. He's like, I don't know how you do this, dude.
You know, it's funny. I remember that year as
Oh,
well.
yeah, dude.
I remember that. Like,
He fucking was flipping out. He's like, I don't know how you have a daughter. I don't know how you let her out of the fucking house. You could be a grandpa.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay, man. It's good. I promise. I'm always watching, dude.
She's got a good head on her shoulders. It's all good.
There been,
And then there's low-hanging fruit who
I
gets
gotta
30
tell you,
phone
I gotta
numbers.
tell you the most inappropriate comment I've ever heard, though, didn't come from a guy, though. We were at Monsterpalooza one year. Same scenario. She's ahead of me, and she walks by these two chicks, and both of them are like inked models
Right.
type of thing.
yeah.
And one of them fucking turns to the other one, and I can't even say it.
You
But I
can
was
say-
No,
like,
you set it
gotta
up.
say
You
it.
got to say it now.
she was like, I'd fuck her so hard. And I was like, oh, it's my fucking kid, yo. And then, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's like, the fucking, tone it down, you fucking hoes, man. God damn, dude. Oh, yeah.
Well-
That was the one I was like, oh, I need to have a fucking drink now. dude.
There was a
And by
couple-
this time, she's like 24
Yeah.
or something
geez.
at this one, you
So
know?
it doesn't get better, is what you're saying.
No! Well, I was like, oh, God damn, dude. You vulgar biatch.
Well, there was definitely a lot of Long Beach was the ass cheek weekend.
Yeah, it
again,
was definitely a lot of ass going on it.
which was weird because you would have thought like Vegas. Vegas was like full nude weekend,
Right.
But like Long
Right.
Beach was ass cheek weekend, you know. And then Palm Springs was like side boob weekend. It was
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Very nice.
And then LA Con is man sack on the table weekend
Oh,
every year.
Jesus, that freaking guy.
just right at that level.
We saw him
Level,
in
dude.
Long Beach.
Is he wearing like sweatpants too?
Oh no, he's got like on the
spandex.
the little spandex.
Oh, this fucking goddamn moose knuckle all fucking up on your shit, dude. God damn.
There. Okay, and then the weirdest. Okay, I won't say the guy's name because I don't want to give him any fucking props or credit, but I remember his name. But this dude comes up and he's got his teeth filed into like points,
Oh, that guy with the makeup on and
Yeah,
everything?
and he's got like he was doing like
Fuck that
he was
guy.
doing like a lame version of the Spooky Steve thing where he was like trying to be his own character.
Hey.
But like you like look, I always gave you respect because you're like you didn't play to like a crowd. You just sort of walked around and people ran up to you and were like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And you're like, "Sure." Right?
Oh, who are you? And I'm like, Steve.
Right?
This
Just
guy's
Steve.
basically like in a horror rock band or something,
Uh-huh.
and he was with his little camera trying to be all clever and shit. And
Which first off, he brought his camcorder from 1998 with
Right,
him, which was really
right.
funny.
with the little flip out thing,
Handheld.
Yeah.
shit,
Right.
yeah.
And then he
like,
came
use
to
your
the
goddamn
table
phone.
and started talking to Darrian, and this dude had the worst fucking BO I have
Right.
ever smelled in my life. Now this is saying a lot at a Comic-Con, Steve.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that
this
is.
This is like beyond bad gym BO. It was just like, holy shit, dude! Like you are,
Oh, he was back the next day with the same outfit, everything.
and I'm sure he hadn't showered.
I saw that dude outside as we were loading out, yelling at the Jesus people out front.
Well, there was only the two guys. You know?
Okay, but he was still down there harassing them.
Was it the seriously aggressive two guys?
Yeah,
though?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those fucking two dudes, man.
And they were like wrecking on everybody.
I can hang with the fucking yellow sign people who just stand there silent like those fuckers on that HBO show,
right.
right? But these two fucking assholes, man, holy crap.
And they
dude.
sit out there and talk shit the whole time.
Oh, yeah, dude, yeah.
This guy's like, "What is it, Halloween? What are you?" He's like, "What are you, a bunch of homos?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Wait,
You're,
what?
you're selling us, dude.
"Oh yeah,
That's some awesome pitch work you got there.
yeah. Well done, sir. Well
Yeah,
done."
right.
So
Boy, where do I sign up to your church? Fuck, man.
Jackasses, man.
yeah, man. So it was it was a fun 2 weekends, but it helped.
It was exhausting.
Yeah, but it really helped me, I think, at the end of the day, because we gotta talk a little bit about Game of Thrones,
Right.
which it is time for a segue. But Game of Thrones, like, obviously we got done last Sunday night, and Chris and I both were scattering home. Notice I didn't text anybody because I didn't want to fucking spoil a single thing about nothing to anybody. So we haven't talked in probably 3 episodes.
It's been a minute. It's
So
been
with-
since Jamie Lannister went riding at the dragon.
Well, I don't think we did that on a.
I don't think we did on a podcast.
on a podcast.
I
We
think-
might have, but we definitely didn't do North of the Wall.
No, we did talk about that because we were all geeking out on finally.
Okay, no,
getting
we
our
did
dragon
not
blue
talk
balls.
about North of the Wall.
We
on
have
the
not.
Show.
No,
we
no,
talked
that
about
one
it
we didn't.
internally.
Which is the
Right.
single greatest episode of
because
Game of
Ron
Thrones
was
ever.
one of the guys who couldn't fucking wait till Sunday night and had to
Right.
watch it 17 times before Sunday on the leaked stuff, you know.
Which is great because I'm glad I did, because otherwise I would have been in a Salt Lake hotel at 2 a.m. on a Sunday night trying to watch this goddamn thing on my phone.
Right.
Because apparently Salt Lake City doesn't. The hotel we were at only does not have HBO. They're like, we have the Mormon channel, we have CBS, and we offer HGN. And those are
and the 700 Club.
no, they're Mormons. They don't watch the 700.
I'm going
Club.
to Utah this weekend. Well, actually, luckily, I'll just be outside camping the whole time.
We
so.
stopped in Zion on our way back, but we
Yeah.
went up north to do the for a wedding and then for the eclipse, and then we just drove back home on Monday night. So, but if you can ever drive 11 hours to see an eclipse, don't. It was
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I thought that was fucking. People were
Yeah, I
fucking
don't get
retarded,
it.
dude.
I didn't get it.
I will say this. I will say this. It was really cool. Like to do it once. Like I've never done that before. Yeah, but it's the summer of adventure, dude. Like I was just like, fuck it,
guess.
why not? You know. And we did a lot of cool shit along the way. We partied in Vegas for a night. We partied in
Right.
Salt Lake, which was actually
That's
cooler than it
cool.
sounds.
Yeah.
We went to Zion for an afternoon and
Yeah.
fucking hiked around, and then we, came back through Vegas and had barbecue at the best barbecue place on the planet.
That made the whole trip worth the while.
It did
right
indeed.
there.
So, but yeah, man. So Game of Thrones, North of the Wall. As I text Steve in the aftermath, I could literally watch a spin-off of Tormund and the Hound just walking around, talking shit to each other and killing things.
I would be there for every episode.
Yeah.
I
Those
think
fucking two guys, man, together. God damn, it
they're
was awesome.
comedy gold.
Yeah.
Like, and Tormund for me, like when he was like, he's like, the South smells like pig shit, and he's like,
Yeah.
you've never been to the South, and he's all.
Yeah, a lot of their duos in there, I was like, I
Right.
need more of this. Like we've talked about in the past with Bran Brienne and fucking
Tormund.
fucking Podrick, dude.
Oh yeah, man.
You know,
some good stuff in there too.
yeah, you know, there's a lot of. We wasted a lot of time on some other bullshit. I
Right.
could have used some more of those characters,
Right.
You know?
I could have, and I had.
Braun and anybody,
Oh, dude, bronze gold with everybody.
every single person. He's
Yeah.
amazing with them.
Yeah.
But it was like, for me, what was surprising was how enjoyable, like, the 7 of them and then the, like, half a dozen red shirts they brought with them were as a group.
It
you
was
know?
cool because at first you just saw like the 7 of them, and I was thinking like fucking 7 samurai.
Yeah,
fucking
right,
type of
right.
shit. And then when the episode kind of, you know, then they threw in a couple extra guys, and I'm like, all right.
Which I
guess-
tried
you gotta-
counting a number of times, and they only showed 11 people in the initial wide shot.
Yeah.
And I counted 6 guys that got killed.
Right,
So
right.
unless the one dude that got mauled by the bear got up and then continued on the journey after, what's his face, Thoros got mauled by the bear as well.
Right.
I was kind of confused by that. So. But it's kind of funny to me because coming out of that episode, we've talked about this before, but I've come to the realization that most of the viewing audience on this show are idiots.
Yeah.
And can't decipher very simple things such as like the constant like, well, where did they get the chains from? And it's like, you do realize that it was all a fucking trap. The entirety of it was a trap, and it was set up as such to be a trap, so he could get the dragon, obviously, to knock down the wall. Like this
Boom.
it was very obvious when we were watching it, and then the next episode, because otherwise, why are the zombies walking around in the north for forever? Well, they had no way past the wall
Yeah, what else are you gonna do?
until the dragon came, and it was like it was a trap. Like how hard is that? It just like it just drives me nuts. You know, it drives me nuts.
They're the same people who fucking demand things like prequels.
Yes, they need everything explained to them, and then they bitch and complain when things are explained to them. You
Right,
know?
right.
They're like, "Well, I never wanted to know how Darth Vader was small." You're like, "Well, then."
You know, and you know, how did she get there so fast? The fucking ravens were this.
They were flying.
The fact that first off,
Do we need a season of fucking what's his name running all the way back to the fucking wall? Do
Oh
we
my
need a
God.
fucking another season of that? I mean,
there
Jesus
was, there
Christ.
was the cutscene released of that where he takes off running, and then it shows him from another angle running, and then running.
Yeah.
It was like a good 2 minutes of him just running.
What the fuck you want? The goddamn Lord of the Rings and him getting
Right,
back to the
right.
fucking wall? I mean, fuck me, man. I've seen enough shit of people just walking.
Well, and it was like, to me, I'm like, just enjoy the fucking story, dude, because it was dope. Like,
Yeah.
it was
So
dope.
Yeah,
Good.
God damn,
It was
man.
so good. There was so much to love about it, and I was like, every moment, and once again, the trap, like the moment when they came across the White Walker, and it just so happened to be the one zombie that, you know, didn't get killed when they killed the one White Walker. Like that was obviously part of the trap as well.
Right.
You know, it was the Night King had this well laid plan, but like Hardhome was, I fucking was holding my breath during that whole episode.
Yeah.
I was like,
when
dude,
they
this
got
is
to the
so-
ice.
Oh, dude, I tell you what, man.
Homeboy threw
Oh.
that rock.
Oh no, man! When fucking I thought Tormund was going down.
Right?
Did you
Dude.
yell at your screen?
I said,
Yes.
God fucking damn it, come on, man. I mean, you killed everybody else I fucking liked, and now... Oh.
Leave that poor
Right?
man alone.
Don't you think? I feel like Tormund has reached official Daryl status. Where
I
I'm
think
like,
the-
if Tormund dies,
maybe.
we riot.
I think right now he's on top. He's the only person on top of that fucking broken-ass wall going, how the fuck am I going to get down from here? You know?
Him and Barrick.
What the fuck do I do now?
I do only have one complaint. Like when Tormund's literally like, well, you know, how are we going to set the body on fire? And I'm all, well, didn't you see these assholes like light their swords on fire at least a half
Right.
dozen times at this point? Like, come on now. you know?
Those are pretty cool flaming swords.
Yeah,
man.
that's
I was
pretty
like,
badass,
That's
dude.
fucking lightsaber shit there, man.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah,
But it was cool. It was cool
yeah,
as
it was
fuck, dude.
Yeah, man, it was
And that
rad.
hammer, like Gendry's hammer, when the Hound was like knocking fuckers out with it, I'm
Yeah.
all, yeah! Like, everything about that was dope. And then the dragon showed up, and it was just like, nuclear fucking arsenal! And it was just like dropping dragon fire. There was just like so many good shots in this last half of the season. And it was funny because it's like people are like complaining. It just kills me because they're like, well, it's not the quiet small moments anymore like it was a couple seasons ago.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like,
that they were complaining about a couple seasons ago.
You have fucking 6-7 seasons of it. Come on,
It's
we
time.
gotta wrap this shit up, yo.
right? It's like there's no new mysteries at this point.
Yeah.
We're just answering
I
questions.
mean, I gotta-
We've answered the
I
Jon
gotta
Snow
fucking tell you,
question.
man. I was getting pretty like, really, we're gonna start a new fucking thread here with the whole Sansa and Arya and Littlefinger
God.
thing, and I was like, really? We're going to stretch this fucking shit out?
Let's not do that.
So when they wrap that up, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, thank God, man. Let's just get to the fucking,
Well, wasn't that like a satisfying wrap up,
Oh,
though?
Such a satisfying wrap.
And actually, if you go back, because I went back, I've just been like, this last 7 weeks, I've been like addicted to Game of Thrones. I literally haven't watched anything else but Game of Thrones. It's like while I've been working on shit, I've just been throwing it on in the background and rewatching it.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I've been everything that I've wanted to see out of this show, I've been getting this last year. And people are like, fan service. And I'm like, well, yeah, I suffered through like fucking people's testicles getting cut off so I could watch
Many
dragons.
people's testicles and dicks getting cut off.
Right? So I could watch dragons and shit blowing shit up, you know?
We've seen her break the chains.
Yeah.
We've
Right.
seen her give the birth. Right?
Right.
Right.
Like, let's have some fucking war now.
Right. It's
I
time,
want to see
man.
some fucking dragons do some fucking damage. You know? I mean,
and it's funny because everyone's like, "Oh, there's no good writing moments." I'm all, the whole fucking
You know what,
first
dude?
15 minutes of the North episode was brilliant.
you know
So,
what? These are the same fucking people, I fucking promise you, dude, that are bitching about this, bitch about everything else in the world every 72 hours. The cup is red
Right,
or whatever the
right.
fuck, dude. You know, I even see this in like, you know, I start getting back into Warhammer 40,000. And, you know, it's the same fucking goddamn bitching and fucking moaning in this game. And I'm like, I've been a fan of this for 30 years. So I'm kind of like, you go away. Just go away.
right.
You know? So sick of these fucking people and their fucking...
So the question is, did anybody else was anybody else slightly weirded out by Jon Snow and Dany having sex at
Oh,
the
of
end
course
of the?
not. We're totally grossed out by the Lannisters, but you know her nephew, no biggie.
I
'Cause
kind
we
of
like them.
when he was knocking on her door, I'm like, dude, that's your aunt. Don't go fuck your aunt.
Yeah.
Like, don't, dude, don't. He's balls.
Hey,
deep
you
in
know
his
what? I got to tell you, man, there were still some people out there who were like, I don't know if they missed an episode or didn't really kind of understand the visions that Brand was seeing.
that they didn't know.
They didn't get it. And I was like, you know, they're related. And he's like, what? Yeah. They're...
How do you not get it when they go from the baby
Dude, I got to fucking...
crossfade to Jon Snow?
Because they're fucking sitting there. They're too busy bitching about the goddamn chains.
I'll tell you what, I missed a lot.
They pick up their phone and they start fucking texting
Right.
about the chains.
Right.
And they miss these vital parts.
Now, I will admit, I missed the mountain the first time through, but on rewatch, I'm like, oh, that's fucking obvious. I mean,
Yeah.
he's in like 15 scenes in the background while they're working on him.
Right.
I didn't get it the first time because
I
I
know.
figured it was,
Yeah, okay, I
I
remember
remember
that.
it was
some
that
fucking guy they were
Walgreens
trying to bring
joke,
back
yeah.
to life.
No, Steve and I remember that as well, Chris.
Yeah.
so.
You know, I didn't get it.
We know.
On the rewatch, I'm like, oh, it was obvious. I must have been like texting or something about the chains. I don't know.
But I got to tell you, man, it's gonna be a long year.
And a half.
Try a year and a half,
Like,
dude.
is that
January 2019 is the absolute
is that
earliest.
really? I thought that was just an internet clickbait myth.
No.
I didn't open it up. So
No, we are screwed on Game of Thrones, and there's only
yeah.
6. But if I'm HBO, like seriously at this point, I'm going to them and like, what more do you need to stretch this out? Like 4 more episodes,
Right.
like.
right.
Stupid.
Like, the
give
amount-
us some more.
Well, I mean, look, I know cost-wise they were like, well, we are doing this in 7, but I think they could have stretched that out into 10 very easily if they just. I mean, but realistically, like I was reading about it, the scene of them from the finale when they had their little meeting outside, that was 10 days of shooting.
Really?
And there didn't seem like there was a whole lot going on there. I mean, they did have the dragon shot, and they had all the effect stuff with the, the White Walker and that.
Wow.
But 10 days to shoot a bunch of people just talking at each other, that's a long ass time.
Right.
So it goes to tell me that they don't shoot quickly when they shoot any of this shit.
No, and all of their like establishing shots and stuff for the castle,
Yeah.
they fucking shot it in 4 different like countries.
Oh wow.
Like if you got to watch the After the Thrones thing that they put on, I was tripping on. I'm like, holy shit!
Even the fucking Beyond the what was it Beyond the Wall episode?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
oh yeah, at least 3 locations.
yeah for that.
Well, and what's amazing to me, and I told Chris, I said the Beyond the Wall, the North of the Wall episode, like to me, they should have ended season 7 with them going out, and then made that into a feature picture, dude. I would have gone and watched 2.5 hours of that just them on the fucking Yo Samurai north of the wall.
That'd be cool. Movie.
Like that gives me a hard on just thinking about it, dude.
That'd be a fucking cool movie.
Like, I think that would have done $200 million at the box office easily. But they're like, well, we don't think it's okay for the fans, and I'm like, fuck that, big budget, motherfucker, make it happen.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, but I just and then the season finale, dude. Like Peter Baelish, that kind of surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I know
I surprised him.
You think so?
Look at it. He went, what? What?
So I think you're misunderstanding this little constant breathing out. Sansa.
Yeah, he bugs the shit out of me. I was so happy.
Oh, that was great though. When he started crying, I'm like, that's right, cry,
Yes,
little bitch,
cry, you little
cry.
bitch.
And Ari was like, she's all, I believe my sister was talking to you. I was like, oh. So the question is, does Ari keep his face?
Oh yeah.
Like, do you think she just has like?
She's gonna go back to. I still think she's gonna take out Cersei.
I think it's gonna be Jaime. I think they've set up Jaime at this point.
Maybe.
Although I feel like, okay, is she pregnant? I don't think she's pregnant. I think she's lying.
No, she's pregnant, dude.
I don't think she's pregnant. I think she's lying, or she's lying to herself to make everybody think she's pregnant. So
She ain't that old.
I mean, it's not about her being old. I just think she's a crazy person.
I mean, how do you take a test back then, too? I mean, you like pee on a sheep? Type of thing. I don't
Stop
know.
bleeding. I guess you know.
Pee on a sheep? How does that work?
I don't know.
You're all.
If it turns blue,
Yeah.
you got a bun in the oven.
You medieval fucking test.
Blue sheep's running around.
Did you see the theory somebody put out today? It was like hot pie is the reason that everything's gone wrong.
Yeah, I did see that.
What?
Basically, they're all fucking hot pie. If he'd just be fat and stay in the kitchen, none of this would have happened because Arya would have gone and killed Cersei.
Right.
Cersei would have been dead. There would have been nobody to convince about having to do the White Walkers. The dragons still be alive. All the White Walkers would be north of the wall. And fat hot pie would still be fat somewhere cooking shit.
It's funny as hell.
It was great. I was cracking me up.
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon there.
So, I don't know. Like, I guess we're at the end, so we got 6 episodes left. So I guess the ultimate question is, who do you guys think this far out is going to end up sitting on the Iron Throne?
Well, they've set it up to be Jon, but I still think Daenerys is going to be the one.
I think they legitimately might just kill everybody.
I mean, Jon is reluctantly the king of the North.
Like, he don't want to be the king of the
He
Iron
doesn't
Throne.
want to be that, man. I think if it were up to him, he'd go back up to the fucking wall.
Right.
You know? I mean, I think he was fucking content up there.
Well, I can't
He
wait
never
for
wanted this.
I can't wait for next season to play the Daenerys bend the knee drinking game. That's gonna be that's gonna be my favorite because
Knock, knock. Who's there?
bend knee because she's trying to get everybody to bend the knee apparently. Yeah, man. But I mean, I think there's a good chance that Jaime might end up as the only person still living too.
Nah, I think him and Cersei are going to die together.
They got to go. Yeah.
You think?
I have this theory that they came in together, they made babies together, weird, and they will die together.
You think so?
I think so.
Interesting.
It's got to be Arya. It's got to be.
You think like she kills? No, I think Jaime kills Cersei.
I see them running each other through, kind of like the end of Excalibur.
Oh, nice,
you know,
man. Good
that
pull,
type
by the
of
way.
thing.
Yeah.
You know,
But we've seen that. Or Daenerys.
No, I really like. I don't know that Jon survives. I don't know that Daenerys survives. I don't know that any of the
I think
main
she goes
people.
on. I think she goes on to rule the Seven Kingdoms.
I think it's Brienne and Tormund, and Tormund creates giant babies
I
that
could-
fucking.
That rule the world.
That would be the world that I would like to see happen. You know,
I want Tormund to have his own spin-off
I mean,
show.
I just want to see him happy because I
Right.
mean, when he looks at her, it's just happiness, man. You know, I mean,
They'd be great big monsters.
that'd be so rad, dude.
His reaction to everything, and he's like, "I love the North. I can breathe up here." He's like, "How do you stay warm?" He's like, "Movement's good, fighting's better, fucking's best. There's no women within 100 miles here. We make do with what we got."
Poetry, man. That guy's awesome, dude.
And poor Gendry is like, my butthole does not want to have any part of this. Run, Gendry, run.
Dude, when did Forrest jump into the Game of Thrones?
I don't know, man. this whole like this season, and it's funny because people were bitching that like, well, nobody died this year. I'm all, you lost so many main players this year,
right?
From the past, like Olena's been around since season 2,
right?
No, dude, they get so used to that whole like, they do it in Walking Dead. In every fucking season finale, somebody big dies. Some big name gets croaked off or something like that.
Well, I legit,
and they expect the same thing in every show that they watch.
Yeah, but I mean, I think legit like. Peter Baelish had a legit shot to sit on the Iron Throne the way things were going.
Right.
Yeah.
And he just, I think he ran into Bran not understanding what Bran was.
Right.
And I think it all comes down to that moment when Bran was like, do you know who that knife belonged to? Mm-hmm. And like at that point, like Bran knew. And I think that the mistake the show made was trying to make us think that like, the sisters were actually at each other's throat.
Yeah.
When I think the whole time they were setting up Peter. Like it.
I didn't see it coming though.
Well, now in retrospect, it's like I think at some point Sansa had to have talked to Bran. It just is annoying that all of it happened off screen.
Right.
Like it would have made more sense to watch them set the trap.
Fun.
Yeah, I guess.
The payoff was that you didn't see it coming. That Littlefinger has worked everyone all the way through these 7 seasons. And just when you think he's going to do it again, he fucking gets his due.
Well, and the worst part is
so good.
That fucker was at fault for the entirety of the war.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you look back, you're like, oh my god, like it's all his fault.
He did all of this.
He has orchestrated this entire thing up until this point. And we finally got our revenge on this asshole. So, but completely satisfying. Him blubbering and crying like a little bitch on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I love you, Sansa. I love you so much.
Dude, those memes you guys are putting up with fucking Arya fucking wearing his face. You stop that? That shit was funny, man. That's good stuff, dude.
That was pretty funny. But yeah,
Keeping me out.
this whole like I was completely satisfied by this season of Game of Thrones. I think other people are just stupid.
If you did not get this season, you're so dumb that I don't know what you're expecting of this show.
I think people just want to bitch for the sake of bitching. They're so
Yeah.
used
What
to
more could you want?
They're so used to bitching about crap, dude, that they sit here and they fucking put everything on a microscope and fucking dissect it with the fucking scalpel, dude.
Yeah,
It's like,
I agree.
God,
Although I did hear
enemy of fun, dude.
one good term, which was "jump the Stark." The show had jumped the Stark.
But,
that is funny.
I was like, okay, that's witty.
I saw this one the other day. Fucking, it was. I don't know if you guys put it up or it was somebody else, but it was Arya and Sansa on the tower,
right.
and said something like,
I saw that today.
"One is not simply going to Mordor." Isn't that what Dad says, or something like that? Yeah, that's cool.
Like, what the hell was he talking about? What's Mordor?
That's pretty funny. All right. So, Game of Thrones 2019. So, you don't have to listen to another Game of Thrones discussion on the podcast for a while.
Oh, that's cool.
All I know is we've been rewatching at our house, like pretty hardcore since before the season ended.
Right.
That season 5 is rough, dude.
Yeah.
That season 5 is really hard to watch.
Oh, I gotta tell you, man, there were times in the show throughout many seasons, dude. I think I've talked about it before. I was about ready to walk.
Right.
I was like, God, this fucking seems to be going
this
nowhere,
faceless
dude.
man and the fucking torture of Reek and like all of that shit was just, and the rape from Sansa's rape stuff.
Well, that stuff doesn't bother me.
But it was just like that was the most difficult season to get through because there was so much shit going on.
It got dark for a while, but for me, it was like the redemption. Like Jon Snow's revival made season 5 like
right.
the best. Like to me, I was like, I love this storyline, and then I love all the shit with Jaime. Anytime Bronn's on screen, I'm like the happiest guy.
Right.
And then that's when we really got to meet Tormund for the first time with season 5.
Yeah.
Like he was kind of in season 4 a little, but he was,
Yeah, and then you're dealing with Mance and the wildlings.
Yeah.
And, it was just...
But season 5 had
it's
hard
the season
home.
on the farm is
like,
what it is.
No, dude. You know what? You can't... Like, everybody shits on season 2 of The Walking Dead, but I like season 2 of The Walking
I
Dead.
do too.
So did I.
But it's,
Like, when you go back
Oh,
and-
no, the prison was the one that was long.
I like the prison, too.
The prison's long,
I thought
dude.
Woodbury, like the first season of Woodbury was the one that I was like, it started out good, and then it like you go back and rewatch Walking Dead at some point, and you're like, the farm stuff is not as bad as people make it out.
No.
Shane, all the stuff with Shane is in there. It's like good shit, dude. So
To me, it was still developing the characters, which
Yeah.
I actually can appreciate,
well, because you're not just like I like zombies. Zombies are fun.
And I
Some of the best
love
zombies were in that
zombies,
season,
You know what I'm
though.
saying? But it's like, you know, what I try to tell people is like, listen, man, if it was just this constant zombie attack, you'd be bitching about that. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's only so many times that they could fucking wow you, dude. I mean, there's literally you kind of. I mean, look at now. It's almost like every couple episodes we have to say, okay, we have sand zombies. Okay, next episode we're gonna do swamp zombies. You know?
Right.
I mean, they're gonna run out of like.
By
got
the way,
fucking
fantastic
barnacles on
band
it.
name. I call Swamp Zombies as
Swamp
my,
Zombies, dude.
Yeah, that's
Sand zombies just didn't go over very well,
No,
you know. But eventually, you fucking run out, and it's like you got to develop these characters a little bit. You're still living in this world, man.
Right.
And you know the same with fucking Game of Thrones. And you know I'm kind of guilty of it. It's like I just kind of got like fuck, man. Right when I'm getting into a story,
They end it.
You switch
Yeah.
me over to somebody that I don't give a shit about
Right.
or something. You're like, ah, fuck, dude.
I would really like to see a super edit, like of one character story, where it's like all their stories throughout a season
Right.
edited into like.
Well, that'd be cool.
Like I would like to see Daenerys' story edited into just one, like only scenes that
Yeah, but that
she's
stuff
in.
in Marine is pretty long, you know. And
I
that's
never got
season
bored
5.
with the Marine stuff, dude. So
With the guy in the guys in the golden masks, it got a little long.
it didn't bother me.
I liked it because it was showing kind of this other exotic world,
Right.
Right.
You know that they kind of talk about in Westeros, but doesn't really exist. You know, and then you're actually seeing. I don't know. I thought it was kind
Right.
of cool.
And I think it's cool, especially now. Like all that shit paid off later,
Right.
Because it's like you got to set up the Dothraki, and especially like you go all the way back and Jaime having that moment because you remember Tywin going, nobody that you would never meet the Dothraki in open battle because you'll.
No, it was
you-
Robert
on the-
said
or as
that.
Robert Baratheon said, you never meet the Dothraki in open battle because they will like wipe your armies clean, and then the Dothraki show up on open battle. And they choreograph some of the coolest like stunt riding that I've seen in a long
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Like them dudes actually shooting those arrows on top of that horse were dope. Like
I mean, all of these things. You know, it goes back to like I'm a huge fan of Braveheart, and when that came out back in the day, dude, that was some pretty epic fucking filmmaking with those
Right.
battle scenes there. So it's like here we are, like 25 years later, and you're seeing what they're doing on Game of Thrones, and you're just like, fuck, dude.
Imagine what they could have done.
This
with
is
Braveheart.
just,
it doesn't blow you away
awesome.
that like you think back to fucking like Dragonheart, with like the Sean Connery dragon, and it's
Yeah.
like you see the dragon shit in this show, and it's like the
It's
season.
seamless, dude.
Yeah, but the season 1 and go back and watch like the season 1 and 2 dragon stuff is nowhere near as good as the shit they're doing
Really?
now. Like the little baby dragons.
I thought they looked pretty legit.
Go back and watch it again.
No, I watched recently when they first crawled up on her shoulder.
Yeah, they look
They
a little
look pretty
janky to
real.
me now. So
I'll have to
I don't
look
know.
again.
'Cause the new dragons are like that's so fucking awesome. Like,
Right.
it's everything I've always wanted. Like since the day I played D&D, I was like, I just want to see somebody drop dragon fire on a group of people on screen one time,
Right.
and watch people melt like immediately. Like that's so badass. Like when she Dracarys fucking the Tarleys. And I'm all, Fat Sam, there goes your dad, and Dick on. So,
Right.
Dick on.
like, all that shit, like, it's just like every moment has been gorgeous, and just
Well,
beautiful.
the payoff is definitely there.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean,
And you suffer through that season 5 for all of these things that have happened in this season.
so much good stuff.
Now, this tripped me out. Go back and watch season 1 after watching season 7. Because it's like the writers went back and specifically watched season 1 and then recalled everything from season 1 in this season. It was such a trip.
There's been a lot of callbacks this season. Like
Yeah.
a
It is so
significant amount.
crazy.
So,
Stuff that you didn't even catch the first time.
no, not at all. All right, well, let's put a pin in Game of Thrones until 2019. So, Defenders came out recently. I know, Steve, you said you hadn't had a chance to watch it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
So we'll try to do a spoilerly free
no,
discussion about
please,
it.
by all means. Everybody else has seen it. It's
Okay, well, I will begin by saying that Sigourney Weaver is fantastic in
She
Defenders.
is.
Dude.
She's really good.
like she's
Oh,
a
man.
great villain, dude.
Listen, dude, I can't think of a bad Sigourney Weaver role. Really?
Now you're making me think.
Avatar.
No, dude, Avatar's dope.
And she was good in that. Listen,
She was good.
I'm not a fan of the movie, but she was good in it. You
No,
know,
we
I
went
can't-
back and watched Avatar recently. That
hold
shit
up?
still holds up, dude. And actually, if you can get a little further away and get away from the hype of it all and just watch it as a movie,
Yeah.
you're like, there's good action in it. The special effects are fucking top notch. And what's his face? Stephen Lang as the bad Marine guy is like, I could watch. He's like, I want a movie with him and Tormund just running around on Pandora killing blue people. Like it holds up. It holds up pretty well.
I think Sigourney Weaver's awesome. I think she's been awesome since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, and I think she was awesome throughout the 80s into the 90s and here in the 2000s. I think she's just an awesome actress, man.
I was not at all excited for Defenders because I watched Iron Fist. So
I remember you not being happy about that show.
I really knew I had to watch it because I saw the first episode and it was fucking great. And I knew I would get to it eventually, but man, the thought of revisiting that character ever was enough to hold me off for, was it been a month since it's been out?
Yeah.
And there were plenty of like, what the fuck moments in this series, but I really enjoyed it.
I thought it
was
as
pretty
bad
well
as
done.
The Iron Fist was, Steve, in his own show. Super enjoyable in this show.
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to go that far.
No.
He was tolerable in the Defenders.
But him and Luke Cage together were fun.
Right.
Just like Jessica. And Jessica Jones is like the funniest fucking drunk.
She is awesome. She steals the whole show again.
And it's like a lot of all her quips, like she's just so wry. And then she's like making fun of Daredevil because he's the only one in a costume, and nobody else
there
is.
it is again.
You know,
cute ears, they're horns.
And she's like, I love when she's like, "You look ridiculous in that scarf," and he's all, "It's your scarf," and she's like, "That doesn't make it any better."
Now I had a couple of things because I was taking notes because there were things I had to bring up because I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay, so they capture Stick, the blind ninja dude.
Yes.
And they bring him to their hideout.
Yeah.
They put a hood over his head. He's fucking blind.
Hey, man, they did it in Star Wars.
Why are you putting a hood over the blind guy? Like, that makes no goddamn sense.
Maybe he's a fucking faker. He's a goddamn Goldberg. You don't even know, you know?
And I'm sitting there watching him like, that's really stupid. Did anybody even go, but he's blind. What does he need a hood for?
And they totally... Okay, so Stick cuts off his own hand to escape, which is fantastic,
it's
right?
Great. It was
but
great.
Then the problem is that they basically just did the prosthetic on the end of his hand, and then they did a number of shots where it was...
It's like same length. Like nothing missing here. Just a hand-sized wad of gauze, you know? Pretty awful, dude.
Couldn't even green screen that
motherfucker. Or like, hey, maybe not put Stick in a situation in this frame shot where...
Or even like put his shoulder up, something, hold the arm up.
He looks like bad Halloween pirate. Like,
right. It was pretty bad, dude. How do you let that slide?
Come on,
CG that
Netflix.
shit.
You guys are making money.
Now, there was... when they finally all get together at the end of episode 3, there's like...
So good.
2.5 episodes of setup, and they kind of like cross each other's path a little bit, but you finally get everybody together, like at the Hands corporate hideout where Sigourney Weaver's like the head of it, and there is a fight sequence there that is as good as anything.
Oh, in
from,
The Office?
Yeah. From the Daredevil 2 seasons.
Totally
all of
bring that
them
up.
kicking
Cool.
ass.
Right. It's all 4 of them in there kicking ass, all at the same time. That Daredevil shot in season 1.
That was a great shot.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Which makes the finale so boring because it's like you got this wide shot of them fighting in this cave. And like nothing interesting is happening.
Oh, I
because you've seen
that.
all this really cool shit happen in that office building, and in this wide open space is not nearly as cool.
Well, and they didn't spend the money on the special effects, and that was the
Right.
problem. There was like the strength of the super strong characters seemed to vacillate at need,
Right.
And that was
they're pulling punches. That's what
Jessica Jones should have been like making Chinese dudes explode when
Right.
she hit them, but that was not the case. But you know.
What was with the MTV real world transitions between scenes? Like real quick edits of streetcar, light post, you know, it was like, and then you would go to the next scene. Like, what the fuck was that?
They used a lot of like transitional color in the show.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if you caught all that, but
Yeah,
it was
I
like
did.
a lot of like, so every character had their own color.
Okay.
So it was a lot
But
of
that
like,
was in the beginning mostly.
no, it was all through. Like,
Really?
go back and watch it again. So it was like anytime like Daredevil was in a shot, it would be framed in reds and such, but not in a way you're like, oh, it's like, you know, Sin City reds or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know, like subtle red backgrounds, subtle red lighting.
Right.
And then anytime it'd be Iron Fist, there'd be a lot of yellow around him, you know. And then Luke Cage had like oranges and you know, and it was like, and Jessica, like everybody had their own color palette, and it was so fucking perfectly subtly done, you know. And then they would transition. The way they would transition between characters was like these like cuts, these like wipes and shit.
Stupid wipes, dude.
No, but it was like tonally there'd be a slight shift because every show had their own tone.
I didn't dig it, dude.
Well, you're the only one.
It was totally like MTV Real World cuts. It bugged the shit out
it was
of
the
me.
Subway one. That was the
Oh
only.
my god! Over and over that fucking Subway shot. It was terrible. That was the one thing I can live with, putting the hood on the blind guy. But those transitions, like
I'm with
after
Steve.
the
You
fourth episode,
can't trust blind people, dude. Like,
well, it is voodoo.
like especially, and you know, okay, going back to Comic Cons real quick. Like, since with the popularity of Daredevil, there's all these fucking people cosplaying Daredevil, and then I feel bad when the actual blind person comes by, and I'm all, great Daredevil,
and Darrian says to this blind dude who walks by, "Are what's the character's name?
Matt Murdock.
Are you Matt Murdock?" And he's like,
no,
yeah, I'm Matt Murdock.
It's like actually
Fucking
blind.
blind, you dumb bitch. You know.
Well, he's not reading comics.
No, I know, right?
Oh, our best one was the blind dude that came up with his mom. You weren't here for this, and the mom was describing all the T-shirts to him. He was like asking about the shirts, and she's like, "Well, this one's in the Star Wars print," and I'm always fucking blind. How does he know what that is?
That's crazy. Okay, so speaking of Star Wars,
Bastards.
what's with
laugh at that?
what's with the old lady Jedi push? Like suddenly she's got this power where she can like force push everybody.
Oh, you're talking about the woman that's the
The
hand?
old lady?
That's been around for a while. She's been doing.
I don't remember her doing that at all, but suddenly she's like pushing cars and shit, and you know, whatever. It was just kind of like out of the blue, she's able to do this. So that was weird, but you know, whatever. I was glad that Danny got kidnapped for about 2 episodes because it took his ass out of the dialogue for a lot of the show. It was kind of nice. But again, we have this dude. He's the key to the whole thing. You get him close to the door, it opens. We get in a fight with Danny Rand. He gets his fist all going. What does he do?
He punches the wall.
He punches the fucking door.
But he doesn't know he's not supposed to punch a door.
He knows he's the key. He knows that's the door.
My favorite
But we're
thing-
going to fight right in front of the door.
My favorite thing is Iron Fist throughout his entire show. Fucking every random person he meets, he's like, "I am the immortal Iron Fist." And he fucking tells everybody this.
Right.
It would be like if Steve, you were like, every person you met, you're like, "I am the king of the goblins." And they were like, and literally he tells.
Does everybody just kind of like, yeah.
No, everybody
Nice.
everybody just accepts it, and except for Luke Cage, who's like, "Yeah, man, I don't know what that means." So you keep saying it, but I don't know what the fuck that means. It was so funny because it was almost like watching the show. Like the writers like heard everything that we as the
Right.
audience were complaining about, and they fucking addressed it in the show.
They put every bit of complaint in there.
Hey, they listen. I think that a lot of times they're listening.
Well,
these
what was
days.
really funny, they're like, you know, for somebody that's supposed to be the best fighter ever, you sure do get your ass kicked a lot.
Right.
It was like literally came up as a conversation piece in the show.
I mean,
you know?
you've been to like test screens before, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, dude, listen. Here, your phone is the test screen now,
Right?
You know,
All the
I mean,
feedback you need, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you got people being brutally honest on here. You know, I mean, sometimes you're like, God damn, dude, you're a savage.
Well,
you're so honest.
I definitely think like the Defenders, because I was the same way. Like Iron Fist is definitely a miss, but it was like coming back. The Defenders like made me excited to watch Daredevil again,
right, and Punisher.
Punisher too. Have you seen
Yeah.
the Punisher preview yet?
Yes.
Defenders was great. As much as I wanted to rip on those couple of things, that's nitpicking. The show overall, I could have watched a couple more episodes.
Yeah, and it was only 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
So like, you know, those 4 episodes of filler, especially like in all like Daredevil, like 4 episodes, like
Yeah.
5, 6, and 7. You're like, Jesus Christ! Like, why are we having a fucking 3 episodes about a courtroom scene that I don't give a shit about? You know,
Right.
You know, we just literally did 4 episodes of the Punisher killing people. And now I'm going to go and do a trial about this woman, this Mexican woman that's been displaced by people. I don't fucking care. Like, none of that is in the show. And it's like...
It's tight, almost too tight.
For me, the really fun episode, there's an episode where they're all hanging out at a Chinese restaurant.
Yes.
Like, after the big fight, like, they go to recover and, like, regroup. And they're in this Chinese restaurant, like, the whole episode. And it's brilliant. Like, and especially Danny walks in and he's all, food. I'm hungry. Do you guys have mushu? It's like, how can you eat?
That was part of the deal. I just had to order 4 of everything.
He's all, it takes me a lot of energy to be the Iron Fist. So yeah, I'd say it's not as good as Daredevil 1 and 2. Like, it's not as good as either of those seasons, but it's right there. Like, it's right behind season 2 of Daredevil for me. So it was better than Luke Cage all the way through.
Yeah,
and it was
Luke
as
Cage
good
got a little slow
towards
in
the
the
end. Yeah, but it was as good as the Jessica Jones, if not better.
Oh no, Jessica
For me.
Jones is still my favorite.
I would say if you like Daredevil, like either season,
Chris is the one person I've heard say that about Jessica Jones.
Really?
Everybody else I've talked to, like one-on-one, that was the fucking one that they do not like.
What? You have David Tennant as the villain.
I'm with Steve. Like, for me, Jessica Jones was just okay, but she was super likable in the Defenders.
She's so likable in that one.
She was way more. I get annoyed with her drunken like surliness at a certain point.
Oh, I don't.
Like, all the time, but
I see myself in that.
It's like, as much as I actually love Tormund and the Hound, like the Hound gets to be a little he menstruates a bit much for me on screen, where he's all like dude, just be happy about anything,
right?
You know, like Tormund to me is the gleeful one, where he's like, life is wonderful, I get to fucking kill, you know. And it's like, I think for me it's like these Marvel characters are kind of the same, you know. And Daredevil was a little bitchy. There was no comedy out of him at all.
No,
he was like Captain Serious this entire time. So.
I think in Daredevil 2 it got bogged down with the Elektra stuff and the hand stuff. I just think it kind of goes off the rails a little bit.
I disagree, but that's just me. So
the first half of that season was phenomenal. Once you get past the Punisher, you get into this hand stuff and like ninjas popping out of everywhere. It's just kind of got old.
One of the best things I saw was like comments about the Defenders, was somebody was like, it's like, there sure is a lot of ninjas in New York all of a sudden, and somebody was like, well, they're ninjas. You're not supposed to fucking know that they're anywhere.
Right.
You know, it's like their whole point is to be hidden, dumbass. You know, so I did enjoy that. But yeah, man, for me, the Defenders,
I loved it. I had
quality.
a great time.
So I would say, if you get an opportunity, Steve, and you're like doing nothing, you know,
sit down and watch it.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's 8 episodes, and they're not hours. They're 45 minutes, most of them.
Yeah.
So it watches fairly quickly.
I could have had another episode before the big finale.
I was fine. I didn't have a problem with the length of it. It was enjoyable. It ended up being like, it was an easy, basically like 6 hours, you know, and you're like, throw it on while you're like, you know, wrestling the kids, you know, or whatever, and just watch it in the background. So, all right, I got a second chance movie. In honor of the Mayweather-Conor McGregor fight that just happened last weekend, my second chance movie is The Great White Hype.
Classic, dude.
I think we got to talk about this just ever so briefly. So recently there was a mega fight, quote unquote, between MMA champion Conor McGregor and Floyd Money Mayweather, who was 49-0 going into the fight. And I got to be honest with you, coming out of this thing, this was the most hyped nothing event I have seen in a long time.
Oh, I'll give McGregor one thing, dude. He went 10 rounds.
Sure.
That's pretty badass.
I agree.
You know?
But on the flip side of that, like, I watch a lot of boxing and I watch a lot of MMA because I enjoy hand-to-hand combat sports. Right. And it was not a good fight from either side. Like, if it was an MMA fight, then I think McGregor would have won walking away in the first 3 rounds because I don't think Mayweather... First off, Mayweather's 22 pounds lighter than him easily, like, and smaller. But as a boxing match, it just wasn't a very good boxing match.
I was busy that evening, and I didn't see it until the end, like the last round. And that's only because somebody was, like, Facebook Living it.
Right.
And... oh boy, he got in some trouble on that one, dude.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he got the shit knocked out of him in the round 9 and 10.
He was just fucking gassed the fuck out, and I was like, "Wow, this is like watching a heavyweight."
Yeah,
right now
he got pummeled, dude.
He's so gassed right now, dude. But still, I have to say, hey, 10 fucking rounds, man.
Great respect, but definitely, it was as if Mayweather rented this movie, The Great White Hype, which is the story about a champion,
classic
that
movie,
needs an opponent that will sell fucking tickets, and that's all he needs. So he's like, white people want to see like a white Irishman box, and it's Damon Wayans, and I forget the guy. Is it Peter Berg? It's not Peter Berg as the lead.
Oh boy, dude, I'd have to look it up.
Yeah,
real quick.
But essentially,
it's also got Jamie Foxx in it.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Jamie Foxx, dude, is fucking. the comedy coming out of him, dude, is just hitting it, dude. I mean, just he's like
hilarious.
He's like, man, you talking to me like you're my daddy, you know? Are you my daddy? You know, I fucking want it. You know.
But this movie, I just remember seeing it in the theaters, and I'm like, this is brilliant because it's the truth. Like, and going into this McGregor fight, like all these fucking like dudes are like, yeah, McGregor, like the Irishman's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm like, at no point
like,
is this guy gonna win.
They're like fucking, you know, the Leprechaun coming out and shit. You know, they're playing all this fucking like Irish folk music and shit, like he's gonna kick some fucking ass.
And this whole movie's set up around like this heavyweight champ, like when he was in like the Gold Glove day, like the early days, you know, his younger days, when he was amateur boxing, he got knocked out one time by this white guy who had like this killer left. And so the whole setup the whole time is them basically talking shit to talking shit to each other the whole time. And it was exactly what this turned out to be. It was like these guys talked mad shit to each other, and then they had this match, and the guy that you knew was going to win from the get-go, guess what? He fucking won. Did you find the guy? The actor?
Yeah, it stars Damon Wayans and Peter Berg.
It is Peter Berg. Holy shit, dude.
Samuel L. Jackson.
That's fucking great.
Jeff Goldblum.
I forgot. That's right. Jeff Goldblum is in that movie.
Jamie Foxx. I mean, it's got a great cast, dude. Keith Marin's in it. John Lovitz. I mean, you get some funny people.
It's a great, hilarious
1996 it came out. I remember when it came out. Like you saw it in the theater.
I did.
I saw it in the theater as well. Thought it was hilarious, dude. You know, good, funny movie. But yeah, it fit this fight. I mean, when you said that, I was like, God damn, dude, Ron nailed that, dude.
It's right out of it, and it's so great in the final fight because Damon Wayans doesn't train at all. And he comes out and he's got this big old fat beer belly.
Yeah. He's just like laying on the couch, man, like eating fucking gummy worms and pints of ice cream and shit. And like his fucking hanger-ons, dude. Like he like throws like gold rings on the fucking floor and watches a fucking scamper for him and shit. Oh, it's so fucking good.
So check this movie out, you guys. It's called The Great White Hype, and you will get to relive the McGregor-Mayweather pre-fight all the way through the fight. I won't ruin for you how it ends. It's pretty obvious how it's going to end. But they make you think the whole time, like, this white guy's got a shot, dude.
Yeah.
And then he even gets to the point where he believes he's got a shot, and then he gets knocked the fuck out.
And isn't it, in the end, he's not even fucking Irish?
No, he's not.
Yeah, like, they totally make that up. Like, Samuel L. Jackson plays...
he's Don King.
Don King. And if you guys don't know, it might be you're a little young, you don't know who Don King is. I mean, this was one of the greatest promoters up there with fucking P.T. Barnum.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, the man knew how to sell a show and make it bigger than the world.
Right.
You know? And Samuel L. Jackson just he nails this role
without question.
So good, man.
Like all the way through.
Yeah.
So, all right, check out Great White Hype. All right, we're at the end of the show. Does anyone have a rant that they want to...
Real fucking quick. I really need to get back to Comic-Con next year because I'm going to go see the folks at the Cartoon Network, the people who developed Teen Titans.
Okay.
Yeah, they made a little fucking song called The Night Begins to Shine.
They did?
Yeah, and it's in multiple episodes.
And so your boys have been watching Teen Titans.
One of my 4-year-olds will get an inch away from my face and hold my face and sing this fucking song.
How's it go?
Oh, I can't do it, dude. I can't do it. It'll get me upset. I had to buy this fucking song to play in the car, and I tell you, he's in the back seat just fucking rocking out. Is it
Vic or Vin?
Vincent.
Of course.
Vincent is my singer. He's my dancer. He's super dramatic, like his namesake, you know, and he fucking loves this song. And as soon as they get home from fucking daycare or school, Dad, I gotta watch Teen Titans, dude. And I swear to God, as soon as I turn it on, that fucking song is playing. Me and the creators of the Teen Titans and CeeLo Green is part of this too. You're part of the problem too, sir. We're gonna have some fucking words, man.
Yeah, but you can't be too mad at the Cartoon Network because they also created Rick and Morty, which is.
I have just.
Are you finally
found this and holy shit. Pickle Rick. That's fucking.
Pickle Rick!
I'm a pickle. That was my first episode.
Oh my God, was it?
Yes.
Remember when I showed you the clip about when Summer was like, "Get your shit together, Summer. Put it in a little box and get your shit together."
Yes.
Like that was when I discovered
I had
the
seen
show.
little clips and I'd seen little things for like Mad Max and stuff, but my first full episode was
right, I'm
the
on it.
Pickle
I'll do
Rick.
it.
It is
and
fucking brilliant,
holy
dude.
shit, dude! It's so good, man. Love this.
guess
It has
I'll
been a
do it.
long time since I have seen a cartoon where I'm like, this. Like back in the day when South Park first came out was awesome. You know, it was
Right.
groundbreaking and stuff like this. This, I'm just like, holy shit, man! These guys are nailing it.
And they
dude.
blow you away with
Oh,
like.
it's so
Did you
good,
see
dude.
what is it? The Vindicators episode?
No, I have a lot to catch up on. So, and it's definitely one that I have to watch after bedtime.
So
you know?
they do their own sort of like faux Avengers, and it's like the Vindicators, like they're calling us. Rick.
Oh wait, yes. And Rick was just like, these guys are a bunch of nerds, man. I don't want to hang out with
And
them.
he's basically like, I kind of find you all pointless. Like I pretty much think that everything you guys do in a year, I could do in an afternoon.
There's like one guy's like made of nothing but ants.
Yeah,
or
he's
something like that.
million ants man, and then there's like John Henry reincarnated, and he's like Ghost Train guy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, Ghost Train was gonna use a ghost train, guys. Look at that, you
Yeah.
know. And then there was like a Tony Stark type guy who was like, yeah, it's like the whole everything about this show is fucking brilliant, and it kills me. And I haven't watched last night's episode yet, but so good, dude, so good.
I've been
check
putting
it
it
out.
off, but I know I need to.
Like I said, it's not one for the kids. It's
No.
it's their Adult Swim, and they've definitely
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to go back now, Steve, and there's a season 2 episode where they do the purge. So they basically, Rick and Morty go to a planet, and it's like, welcome to the planet. You may not want to be on planet after nightfall. It gets a little nasty. And he's like, wait a minute. Is this a purge planet? You guys purge here? And he's all, well, we do have the festival. And he's like, look at you. You like to purge, don't you? I bet you go all crazy at midnight, don't you?
Oh man, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna start a season 1, episode 1. and just
Oh,
go
it's
from
fucking
there,
brilliant.
man.
The first, actually, the first 2 episodes are a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do like an Inception episode, which it's like all right. There's some funny moments in it, but really, it's like episode 3 or 4 of the first season is like it kicks into gear,
Yeah.
and then it never lets up for all the way through season 3. But Rick and Morty, dude, you gotta try it.
All right,
you gotta
I'm on
try
it.
it.
So Cartoon Network, you got that, but
Fuck you on the Teen
We're gonna
Titans.
fucking talk about this song.
Chris, you got anything
No,
after ranting about Long Beach and everywhere else on the planet?
I'm actually pretty good, man.
All right, good.
I've done 18 pages of the new Grace. So
Oh, nice, man.
I've got
Very good.
6 to go.
Grace 4 comes out for all of our listeners out there. A new issue comes out the end of this month, September 28th, and we're already taking pre-orders for that, and we're working on 5 right now, so exciting times, good stuff. So, all right, well, let's wrap it up right there, you guys. This has been a fun episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed all of our discussion about various things, you know. So I'm Iron Fist, non-glowing fist.
I'm Hot Pie.
This is pod racing.
And we hope you guys are having a nerd life crisis. Music for the Nerd Life Crisis podcast is provided by Big Papa and the TCB. All music available at bptcb.com or at iTunes. The Nerd Life Crisis is recorded at the Inland Blue Studios. Make sure to subscribe to the Nerd Life Crisis at iTunes and like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Nerd Life Crisis.